You are at a dinner party when a stranger sits down beside you and asks if they can join. You say, of course. Within the first hour, you begin to notice something unusual. When the pianist across the room plays a wrong note, this person flinches slightly and tells you, without looking, exactly which note it was. They write a message on their phone with their left hand while sketching something absent-mindedly with their right, both simultaneously, without any apparent effort. You bring up something you said an hour earlier, and they quote it back to you verbatim, including the exact words, the pause you made in the middle, and the look on your face when you said it. Then the pianist begins a new piece, and your companion tilts their head and says, quietly, that the opening chord is a deep cobalt blue, and the melody keeps shifting into a kind of amber as it rises. You ask what they mean. They say they have always seen music that way, in color, the way most people see shapes. Your alarm goes off. It was a dream. You lie there and ask yourself, does a mind like that actually exist? Statistically, yes, but that raises a more interesting question. Out of the 8 billion people alive today, what would the rarest possible mind actually look like? To answer that, we need to break the human brain down trait by trait, starting with something most people wouldn't notice at all. Most people have a dominant hand. Not in the sense that they slightly prefer one over the other, but in the sense that asking them to use their non-dominant hand for a complex task feels approximately like asking them to write with their foot. True ambidexterity, defined as the genuine ability to perform skilled tasks with equal precision using either hand, is estimated at roughly 1% of the global population, or 1 in 100 people. This isn't the same as being cross-dominant, meaning preferring the right hand for writing but the left for throwing. True ambidexterity requires independent, equally developed fine motor pathways in both cerebral hemispheres simultaneously. Neurologically, it is genuinely unusual. Our rarest mind is truly ambidextrous. Their probability of existing is now 1 in 100. Now we give this person chromesthesia. Chromesthesia is a form of synesthesia in which sounds automatically and involuntarily trigger visual color experiences. When a person with chromesthesia hears music, specific notes, instruments, or chords produce distinct, consistent color perceptions that appear in their visual field or in their mind's eye. The same note always produces the same color. The experience is not chosen or imagined. It simply happens. The composer Franz Liszt reportedly had this condition. So did Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. Chromesthesia is the rarest confirmed form of synesthesia, estimated at roughly 1 in 2,000 people. Our rarest mind now has a 1 in 200,000 probability of existing. Now we give this person perfect absolute pitch. Absolute pitch, sometimes called perfect pitch, is the ability to identify or reproduce any musical note without a reference tone. Most musicians, even highly trained ones, rely on relative pitch, recognizing notes by their relationship to other notes. A person with absolute pitch hears a sound and immediately knows its exact frequency, the same way most people recognize a color as red without needing to compare it to another color first. The ability is partly genetic and partly dependent on early musical training during a critical developmental window. It occurs in approximately 1 in 10,000 people in Western populations, though the rate is somewhat higher in populations whose native language is tonal, such as Mandarin or Vietnamese. Combining all three traits so far, our person now has a 1 in 2 billion probability of existing. To recap, the rarest mind we have built so far is truly ambidextrous, experiences music as color, and can identify any musical note by its exact frequency alone. That combination already puts them at 1 in 2 billion, and we are not even close to done. Now we give this person an IQ above 160. Intelligence is distributed across the global population along a bell curve, with an average of 100 and a standard deviation of 15 points. An IQ of 160 represents a score more than 4 standard deviations above the mean. Statistically, this occurs in roughly 1 in 30,000 people. At this level, Individuals are typically capable of processing abstract patterns and solving novel problems at a speed and accuracy that places them in the top fraction of a percent of all humans alive. Historical estimates place figures like Terence Tao, who won the Fields Medal in mathematics at 31, in this range. Our rarest mind now stands at 1 in 60 trillion probability of existing. Now we give this person true eidetic memory. True eidetic memory in adults, the ability to retain precise photographic quality, visual or auditory information after a single brief exposure and recall it in perfect detail indefinitely, is one of the most disputed and rarest cognitive traits in the scientific literature. It is relatively common in young children, appearing in up to 5% of children under 7, but almost always disappears before adulthood as the brain's neural architecture matures and reorganizes. Confirmed cases of genuine eidetic memory in adults are vanishingly rare, with conservative estimates placing the probability at approximately 1 in 100,000 people. Our person remembers everything they have ever read, every face, every number, every detail of every room they have ever walked into. Their probability of existing is now 1 in 6 quintillion. And now we give this mind one final trait, prodigious savant syndrome. A prodigious savant is an individual who possesses at least one area of extraordinary ability so far above the general population that it would be remarkable even in a person without any other unusual condition. Figures like Kim Peek, who memorized over 12,000 books and could read both pages of an open book simultaneously with each eye independently, represent this category. Fewer than 100 individuals in recorded history have been confirmed as prodigious savants across multiple domains simultaneously. Conservative estimates place the probability at 1 in 1 million. Our rarest mind now carries a combined probability of 1 in 6 septillion. To put that into perspective, the estimated number of stars in the observable universe is approximately 200 sextillion. 1 in 6 septillion is a number approximately 30 times larger than every single star you could theoretically observe from Earth, with the most powerful telescope ever built. If you counted 1 grain of sand for every person alive today and kept going until you reached this probability, you would need 400,000 planets the size of Earth filled entirely with sand to get there. And this is still not the rarest mind you could build. Every trait we chose represents only one point on a spectrum that extends further. Reaction speeds in the top thousandth of a percentile. Spatial reasoning so developed it allows the mental rotation of 4-dimensional structures. Language acquisition so exceptional that confirmed hyperpolyglots have reached fluency in over 50 languages. The combinations are effectively infinite. The point is this: the brain you are using right now to process these words is already the product of a combination of traits that has never existed before in exactly this configuration, and will never exist again. The mind you have is not a version of something common. It is a completely unique arrangement of billions of neurons that took your entire life to build. There are plenty of minds in the world, but there is no other mind quite like yours. And the odds that it exists at all are, quite literally, astronomical.